In today's video, we're painting an Imperial Knight, and this is a commission work. We are going to build and paint the Canis Rex variant. The key to any commission work is finding the balance between good quality painting and efficient painting. The thing is, with commission work, you want to be as efficient as you can without sacrificing too much quality. So watch as we turn this beautiful miniature into this. Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my channel. This channel is supported by all these awesome brands. Also, special thanks to The Army Painter for making this video possible. By the way, do check out my discount codes and affiliate links down below. It helps the channel a lot and it will give you some discounts. This is only my second time to build an Imperial Knight, and the last one was a little bit smaller, so I'm not sure if it's also an Imperial Knight. You get a lot of chunky parts and a beautiful sheet of decals. I was really excited building this model, and in hindsight, I should have not glued the armor parts. The build was pretty straightforward, but I wanted a really clean, I wanted to clean up the mold lines really well, so I used my SAB panel liner. It took me a little more than an hour to clean up all the mold lines. I used the panel liner to scrape off the mold lines. Once I'm happy with the scraping of the mold lines, I applied a small amount of thin cement to smoothen the areas. I don't have affiliate links or anything like that when it comes to SAB panel liners, but I highly recommend this tool. I also added magnets to the top of the Imperial Knight so that the client could switch the weapons. I used 5mm magnets which fitted very nicely. After half a day of building and cleanup, we are ready to paint. Painting the base colors is not really that important on how you want to paint it. You may paint with the airbrush, you may paint with speed paints or regular acrylics, especially if you plan to do a lot of layering and highlighting later. So it doesn't really matter how you paint the base colors. Since we want the painting at least of the base colors to be as efficient as we want, we had no choice but to use an airbrush. The painting of the black primer is kind of crucial because we don't want to leave areas that are plastic. We want to paint all of the crevices and details, especially the hard-to-reach areas. We want that in black primer. Once happy with the black priming, we now paint heavy metal all over the miniature. Unlike the black primer though, we don't really need to paint the very deep crevices with this color. Most of the painting were on the sides of the miniature and of course from the top. This color is beautiful, but it's a little bit too dark. This color though is perfect as foundation color, or the base color for everything. Oh, by the way, I thinned down Warpaint's Fanatics around 3 parts thinner and 1 part paint. I'm using a 0.5 needle at 30 psi. Once happy with the heavy metal painting, we paint the armor parts with steel. You can paint with a lighter silver color, especially if you plan to paint with pulse shading later. I like steel though because it's not too dark and it's not too bright. I applied steel in 3 thin coats. Of course, make sure to let dry in between coats. Now we have a beautiful metallic base color. The transitions between heavy metal and steel is too subtle in video, but it looks better in person. Now we have to do a lot of masking. This is why I said in the intro that I should have not glued the armor parts. The first color to paint is white, and the metallic base color serves like a very nice undercoat for the white paint. Painting white over metallics is like painting white over gray. When you're painting white or airbrushing white, you want the best finish by painting in multiple layers. Regardless, even if your white paint have good coverage and are very opaque, you want to apply this in multiple thin coats. I think I airbrushed the white parts in roughly around 4 thin coats. As usual, you force cure with a hair dryer in between coats. Now the white paint also doubles as underpainting for the red parts. This is where the planning takes place. Like, even before the painting, you had to plan which colors to paint first so that your painting is more efficient. The big gold areas of the top armor, I had to airbrush the gold parts. Brush painting metallic paints will be a pain, especially for the bigger areas. So I decided to apply the gold paint on the bigger areas with an airbrush. In hindsight, the shoulder armor should have been painted with gold first, and then white, and then reds. Now it's a matter of just painting red on top of the white underpainting. Command Red from the historical set is basically the updated red or pure red in Warpaint's Fanatics. This new pure red has better saturation and is very beautiful. I thinned down the paint, 3 parts thinner and 1 part paint. I painted the red in 3 thin coats. If you're looking to invest on an airbrush, do check out Gallery. Now before applying decals, I applied a couple of thin coats of gloss varnish. I force cured the gloss varnish with a hair dryer and let it cure for an hour. Once the gloss varnish has cured for at least an hour, we are now ready for decal work. Decal work is always finicky. It's like catching the decals or placing them on the proper area is always tricky. You can use your pen brush or a brush loaded with water when positioning the decal. Once happy with the position of the decal, it's a matter of just removing the excess water with cotton swabs. Be careful when using the cotton swab because you don't want to move around the decal at this point. Once happy with your decal work, use a decal softener to really blend the decal over the painting of the miniature. Now let the softener air dry for a few minutes. After the decal work, we're sealing everything with a matte varnish. The matte varnish will give a paper-like texture for the detail painting. Now if you're liking this video, do give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. The matte varnish is optional before the detail painting, but a matte varnish will give you some sort of a paper-like texture and detail painting will be easier. Detail painting over gloss or even satin finish will have more surface tension. Now it's just a matter of painting all of the details of this miniature. I'm using Army Painter Warpaint's Fanatics, which has good coverage. So the detail painting is a little bit easier than usual. However, and this is a big however, I should have painted the trims before, like I should have painted all the gold trims with an airbrush before detail painting. Painting of smaller trims are easy even with metallic paints, but painting bigger trims like the Imperial Knight is not that easy because you want a really nice smooth painting, so you have to apply in multiple thin coats. So like I said, in hindsight, I should have painted all the metallic parts with an airbrush before masking and painting the white parts and the red armor parts. So needless to say, the painting of the bigger armor trims of the Imperial Knight took me a while because I had to paint them in multiple thin coats. But other than that, all of the painting of the details were pretty straightforward. Once happy with the painting of all the details, it's a matter of finishing with the OSL. The painting of the OSL, I started with just brush painting. I painted multiple colors like lighter blues and then darker blues for the drop-offs, and then eventually I finished off with an airbrush. The painting of the OSL is not as detailed as if I'm painting a smaller miniature. But after painting of the highlights and then eventually glazing with the airbrush, I'm pretty happy with the result. Now we add more shades and contrast and some detailed painting with the new speed paint markers. Of course, you could use regular speed paints or regular acrylics with the painting of the other details and use washes to add more contrast to your painting. But it's kind of fun to use the markers, especially in the finishing stages. Like I said in my previous speed paint markers videos, the speed paint markers kinda dry slower, or at least it feels like it dries slower than regular speed paints. And of course, as usual, speed paints are less subtle than washes, so the work is faster when you're adding shade with speed paints. If you don't have the markers, you could use regular speed paints, thin down a little bit with speed paint medium. But I highly recommend that you get a pen brush so that you could use the pen brush to blend the edges of the speed paint painting. Blending with the pen brush is as fun as painting with the markers, and it's cheaper because you only need to buy one pen brush. After painting with the markers, I had to apply a final satin varnish. Now, before my final thoughts, a huge thanks to all my patrons at Patreon, Hajime Model Studio, and of course, The Army Painter for making this video possible. I think the painting process that I showed you is pretty efficient. However, like I said earlier, I should have painted the gold trims with an airbrush. Once happy with the painting with the airbrush of the metallic parts, you can then paint the white armor parts and then of course the red. So after the airbrushing of the base colors, it's just a matter of painting the tiny details. Also, I hope you notice how I use the varnishes. We use gloss varnish so that the decals will adhere to the miniature really well. Gloss varnishes are also the most durable type of varnishes. So a quick coat of gloss varnish is really good even if you don't plan to use decals. So since gloss varnishes are the most durable type of varnishes, you want to apply gloss before you apply matte or even satin varnishes. So after the decal work, you want to protect the decals with a nice coat of gloss varnish. Once you've sealed the decal work with gloss varnish, you have to apply a thin coat of matte varnish for the detail painting. As mentioned earlier, the matte varnish will give you a paper-like texture so that your detail painting will be easier. After the detail painting, you may want to apply a quick coat of gloss varnish again to protect your detail painting. Once happy with your detail painting, your finishing touches, you want to apply a final varnish. The final varnish could be matte varnish or satin varnish, and it is a little bit crucial because it will give you a more uniform finish to your painting. So obviously, I applied a ton of layers of varnishes on this miniature, since the client told me that this miniature is both for display and play. If this model was mine, I would have done a lot more weathering on this miniature. Before the painting of the OSL, you could apply more streaking, chipping, washes with enamels or even oil paints and make it look really grimdark. But the client wanted it nice and clean, so I kept the painting nice and clean. I do want to paint something like this again, maybe another Imperial Knight, and this time and next time I'll do more weathering. That's it, Pansit. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Until next video, guys. Bye! If you like this video, you might want to check out these other videos.